And instead of asking the question, what would Jesus do? WWJD, we're asking, what would Jesus undo? There's things that we see that he would, he wants to see in our lives us grow in our lives. Jesus undo, he would undo a spirit of hypocrisy. But hypocrisy is one of those things that, it's easy to see in other people's lives, but sometimes it's so hard to see in our life, right? In fact, as we talk about this, it's going to be a whole lot easier for you to think about all the hypocrites you know today. It's going to be yeah, I wish that person was here. Or that person next to me, I hope they're listening, right? It's going to, because hypocrisy is so easy to see in other people. And it's so difficult to see in ourselves. Hypocrisy is this idea, that our outside and what we do doesn't line up with what we say about ourselves. Now, let's clear up some confusion about hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is not the gap between what we do and what we wish we did. Hypocrisy is not the difference between how we behave and how we wish we behaved, right? Usually, that's not hypocrisy, that's just sin, right? I wish I didn't have bad thoughts, but I do. I wish I didn't say that, but I did. See, we have to understand that hypocrisy is not the difference between what we wish we did, the gap between what we wish we did and what we did. Hypocrisy, if you have your notes, you can write this in. Hypocrisy is the gap between what we show and who we are. Hypocrisy makes it seem like we're one way on the outside, but on the inside, there's something very different going on. And it just becomes clearer and clearer as I read through the scriptures that God really does look at the heart. And yeah, he wants our actions and our attitudes to come along because that's what the world sees. But he's chasing after not our actions and our attitudes as much as he's chasing after our heart and allowing our hearts to bloom, and so our actions and our attitudes come from the inside out. He wants to transform our hearts and our lives so that we're not just putting on a show out here and then inside we're full of dead bones. He wants to transform our hearts so that our hearts being transformed then spill out onto the outside. God would rather us be an honest sinner than a lying hypocrite. To just say, here I am. Here's my struggles. God, here's what I deal with. To confess, we talked about this more and more recently, but just to come to God with a posture of confession, saying, God, I'm a sinner in need of salvation, in need of your grace. Jesus was never more upset or angry than with the hypocrites. Man, he had unlimited grace for people who are sinning in need. We see it all throughout Scripture, all throughout the Gospels. The people that Jesus navigates towards are those who know that they're lost, know that they can't do it on their own. And so for you and I, we need to begin to unearth anything in our life that's hypocritical. What Jesus would want to undo, the knot that he would love to undo in our life, is that of hypocrisy. But if we're going to allow Jesus to undo the knot of hypocrisy in our lives, then we're going to have to search for it. Because like we said earlier, it's a whole lot easier to see that in other people, isn't it, than it is in ourselves. And so, David, I want to leave you with this verse. It's not in your notes because I thought about it this morning. In Psalm 139, verses 23 and 24, David simply prays this prayer that I would hope that we sit with and pray this morning. He says, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any grievous way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting." Man, can we sit with that verse? Like, that's the prayer, like, that we ought to sit with today. Where we just come to before God and we say, search me, O Lord. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Not know my appearance. He says, know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any grievous way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting.